Hey guys, Duke. I figured I haven't done a blog type thing for fun for a long time. Uh, I've done a couple for updates, but again, that was just not important. So, I did something pretty cool today as of this video. I went to ConStellation 3. It's a sci-fi convention here in town. And I don't know if that, I don't think you'll be able to see that, but it says Duke. I was like the 203rd person on Saturday. I went Saturday, and I'm just going to wear this like a doof. My name's Duke. I heard about it a few weeks ago, and it was just a small sci-fi con in a hotel I live fairly close to, like, you know, a 5-minute drive. And I haven't been to a convention in a little while, like, not even like the only conventions I've been to are some of those smaller cons I go to in Omaha, and that big one, Contagion Outbreak, I went to in Omaha last year, which they're not having this year. There's another one called NerdCon happening. I might go to that on my birthday. Oh, it starts on my birthday. I might go one of those days. But, plans. So, it was your kind of basic con experience. You know, they had the main kind of, they had a couple places. They had a lot of the halls marked off for panels. They had a couple panels I went to. I went to a good couple. They had a Doctor Who panel, which was fun. Basically, they just spend most of it just kind of explaining all the doctors and explaining, you know, their companions and some of the major villains. Stuff I already know, but it's fun to hear. They got into a little bit of the history, they mentioned some of the weak points of some of doctors and some of others. The guys doing it were obviously big fans. They watched the PBS reruns in the 80s, so they knew what they were talking about for the most part. I did correct them once, but to be fair, it was an episode title, and a lot of these episode titles sound the same. But, yeah, I definitely had fun. I was sitting next to, ironically enough, I was sitting next to a Rose cosplayer, but it was awesome. She wasn't just wearing her, like, you know, regular Rose clothes. She was wearing, like, what she was in Unquiet Dead. And I only know that because I asked, and she said, "Oh, I'm Rose from Unquiet Dead." I'm like, "You're the greatest cosplayer of all time." That's just slightly obscuring a character that someone here would know, but wouldn't know exactly. I didn't even know, because it's been a little while since I've done Unquiet Dead, which maybe I should do for the next Doctor Who week. Who knows? And there was an art gallery. Nothing I really wanted, because a lot of them were expensive pieces. I didn't take any pictures because there weren't any I really liked. A lot of them were more, for being sci-fi con, a lot of them were more fantasy based. There was like a Wonder Woman and a Hugh Jackman, but they just weren't. They were good. Like they were this nice Hugh Jackman Wolverine, and this really good looking Wonder Woman. But the thing is, they were too expensive, and I didn't think they were that great to, you know, share with the world. And let's see, what other panels did I go to? I went to How to Be a Villain. And they had this fun little improv where basically they wanted to start out small, so what you had to do was you had to go to a Walmart and, you know, try and get something from them without paying, steal from them. And some of them were great. Like, you had to think out, like, some were hilarious. The guys who they had set up as, like, the, you know, employees and the manager, everyone was on top. Everyone was having fun. I can't even mention some of them because I can't even do my own justice because it was just spur of the moment. But it was hilarious, some of the over-the-top things we do. I did something in the lines of I stole a DVD and had the Enterprise beam me up and then beam me back down to zap all three of them with a phaser, and stuff like that. And they were giving out candy, and it was just real. It was a fun panel. I had fun at every panel. There was a, let's see, what was, there was just there's a bookstore I go to sometimes called Indigo Bridge, and they have a graphic novel book club. And this was kind of sponsored by the guys who run the book club, and they were just talking about how comics, just having a conversation about comics, how they work today, how graphic novels and how trades are kind of, how exactly they work, how they're different, their disadvantages, their advantages. It was just this fun hour-long talk with me and a small group of people, and this was more of a personal conversation. They really, really were engaged, and they let me have my say and listen to my opinion, shared some of their favorite trades and graphic novels. I shared some of mine. It was good. And there was another one that I just enjoyed the hell out of. Was now apparently this was the second time he did this, because this is the third time in a row they've done this convention. This guy last year apparently did a convention called "What is Wrong with Twilight?" More sacredly, the movies, and he did like a sequel to it this year for New Moon, and I was like. So it's basically just a guy making fun of New Moon. I love that. I love watching, I love listening to the best of riff tracks on those movies. So I was like, oh, this is going to be fun. And it was one of the funnest things I ever listened to, because this guy prepared a nice PowerPoint and was just dead on everything. I can't even think of something. One of my best points, and to be fair, he sold us on this, was the only way you can make those movies better is if you changed up the soundtrack, because it was this, the kind of music. And he said you need to replace it with hardcore metal, like old Metallica and Megadeth. That would have made that movie insanely better. And he, like, to prove this, he played the title sequence, which is just a boring moon moving and the title showing up. Play that with Metallica, and that was just, everyone died laughing at that. And I give nothing but praise to that guy. It was hilarious, and hell, even I kind of, like once in a while I chime in, because the thing about all these panels is none of the panel guests were they were all, like, the ones I at least saw, none of them were, for lack of a better term, like, overstaged, over rehearsed. They knew what they were going to say, but they were flexible. If someone said something like a point or something hilarious in some of these comedy-centric panels, they took it with stride and, worked with it too, because this is them having as much fun as we are, and I love that. I dug the hell out of that. And, yeah, those were the only panels I really went to, because I think I missed out. I'm sure there was a Klingon panel. There were these two people, and I kept running into them because it's a decent-sized hotel, but there's honestly only like a handful of rooms you're going to be seeing yourself in unless you're staying at the hotel for this convention, which I know some people were, and it was a lot of fun. I can't argue that it's not. But here's the thing. I was running into these two, and they were. I wasn't in the panel, but I wasn't like there to watch it. But I did see they did a, Klingon 101 panel, and one of the guys still in his Klingon garb was at that Doctor Who panel, and I think I better just kind of transition to that panel. More. Okay, so. Now that I've told you my experiences, and in terms of what else I did, I just talked to friends, talked to people. Well, not I know no one there, but a lot of the people there were really nice. I chatted up with a girl dressed as like a Victorian vampire with a top hat, who was cute as hell, and I'll probably never see again. Damn it! And sad days of Duke, and I took pictures of some cosplayers. I'll try and edit them in the video somewhere. Hopefully, I might be lazy. The guys who were running the Doctor Who panel, one was dressed as Tom Baker, and he even had a bag of jelly babies, and he was. I took a picture of one of these jelly babies because I figured I never would have one in my life because I'm not ambitious enough to go get them myself, and. I of course didn't save it because I fucking ate them, but they're delicious, by the way. They're really sweet. They're not just like gummy bears. They're sweeter than gummy bears I've had before. And Yeah, I just had a lot of cool people, had a good amount of fun. Uh, no one was a jerk. Everyone was fun, really nice. There was one thing I want to mention, and this is just hilarious. There was this a couple, like this family, a dad, mother, and they had a son and a little daughter, and those kids were the cutest things ever. First off, the son was dressed as R2-D2. He had like, you know, a cardboard painted silver with blue tape and a little hat. And I couldn't take a picture of it. That kid would not take a picture for anyone. He didn't like standing around, and he just couldn't do it. Fair, whatever. Little kid, not gonna do it. But the family's daughter was hilarious, and I was chatting up with Dad. The dad was a Doctor Who nut, and you know, we went together on a lot of things, talked a little Star Trek, had fun. The dad had this awesomely adorable Cthulhu puppet. Trust me, I said that phrase 3 times today, and the irony of saying that out loud has not stopped me. And his daughter adores it, like loves it, like pets it, which is the most hilarious thing. Just this child who's so happy to hug Cthulhu. And he even showed me a picture, and I don't have it, because they had a My Little Pony Friendship is Magic panel with a guy who even brought his own custom stuffed pony. We're not going to get into that. I didn't even get to see it. I didn't want to. I'll assure you. But he took a picture. The little girl brought the Cthulhu puppet up and put it next to this pony. It was the funniest. And the guy in the picture was just like, the hell's going on? Cthulhu and ponies don't match. Unless they did Cthulhu pony, which would be terrifying. But it probably already exists because it's the internet. And yeah, again, I just had fun with the people. Now I think you people want to know what I got swag-wise, so I brought a fair amount of money. It was $20 to get in, but luckily they had a nice suite, like a room set up with free food, sandwiches, chili dogs, snacks, fruit. All that was delicious, great. I went there a lot. I chatted up the woman who was kind of running it all, serving the food, who didn't really get out that much because she was too busy serving food. And I chatted up with her because A, she was awesome, and B, she was just stuck in that room. You better be nice. You don't want to make the woman serving you food cranky. But back to swag. I got only a couple things. Actually, you know what? Let's not do the things I bought just yet. Let's do something I won. Now, at that Doctor Who panel, they had a little trivia contest. And not only did I get jelly babies, like just from correcting a guy, I mentioned before I corrected a guy on an episode title, and he was like, "Here, have a jelly baby." I'm like, "Yes." And I promptly did take a picture of it. And then I want another trivia question. It was just simply a fill-in-the-blank question of what was the 5th William Hartnell story, The Keys of Marinus. And they were giving out snacks. And I got my hands on a pack of Jammy Dodgers. I have not opened the pack yet. I probably will later. I know I'm probably in the minority, but I liked Victory of the Daleks. I know people who hate Victory of the Daleks. I've seen a lot of people who just loathe it, but I loved it. And I love the Jammy Dodgers joke. And this was kind of like, some people think this is a thing that replaced Jelly Babies, and it's slowly becoming that, I guess. Like Jelly Babies, never had these. I don't even know. Obviously they sell them somewhere because the guy got it, even though there's some weird labeling on here. But yeah, I got Jammy Dodgers as a prize. That's awesome. So I'm not gonna complain. Now the swag I got, I have not unrolled it yet, and I don't want to, but I will put a picture. You guys are from the Pandorica Opens. You guys remember that painting that Vincent van Gogh made, using the American pronunciation, so no one get on me, of the TARDIS exploding? I got that poster. Because the thing about the dealer room was I was constantly acting like a vulture the entire... I was there for a good chunk. I was there for a couple hours. Not even a couple. I was there for roughly 6 hours. there was tons of panels and a lot of fun stuff to do, so why not? And I was constantly vulturing the dealer room, and I bought a few things here and there. They had a couple. There was a place selling comics, but well, they were selling trades, but there was nothing I really wanted or nothing I could afford. They had Generation Lost, like the 2 trades of Justice League Generation Lost, but again, only at half price, and I'm like, I don't want to spend $40. I'll instead, because this woman did have a good chunk of Doctor Who stuff, action figures, DVDs, audio CDs, but not Big Finish. They were Big Finish. I would have bought one in a heartbeat. Not even like the missing episode soundtracks. Just audiobooks of novelizations, which I was a little upset about, but I'll live. And she was selling the Victory 2, the Daleks poster, another Doctor Who poster, and this, and I was like, you know what? Because I badgered her more than anyone, I think. I just kept going back to it, looking at the stuff she had. All these expensive figures that looked really good. Even to me, a guy who does not buy or collect figures in any capacity, really, really thought, man, I would love to have that, because some of those look so good. But, and alas, no. If they had a Doctor figure, which they didn't, the only Doctor figures they had were with expensive as hell packs, or like goofy variants like Bearded 11th Doctor or Flesh 11th, and a lot of them were just 11th Doctor, like stuff from, you know, his era, with a couple classic monster figures and a handful of like stuff from Tennant Eccleston run, which is kind of in ways their same run. But I got a poster. I've been needing to get other posters, and I met a guy. There's a guy there. His name's Chris Ralston. Ralston. I can't talk. I'm so sorry, guy, if you're somehow watching this. He was in this kind of cool steampunk getup. He had all this cool art. Again, nothing I really wanted per se. It looked good, but a lot of it just wasn't. Like his fan commissions were all just anime stuff, and I didn't want to. I could have asked him to do something else, but I'm just like, no, you're obviously stuck with anime. There's no anime I really think I want. But he wrote and drew this comic called The Third Rail. It's a steampunk adventure, and that's all I can currently remember about it. But it's his own self-published comic, and thanks to knowing Manos, I've been kind of wanting to get it more and more into, you know, independent comics, like true indie stuff, not just like, you know, not full-on Image or Dark Horse. I mean stuff like this, and Red Knight. And the guy was extremely fun, really good artist. I should have at least taken a picture or something to show you, but I didn't want to be rude and bother him too much. The woman at the Doctor Who table, oh, I badgered too much. Him I visited once and bought this for $4. I will read it and hopefully review it, and mention it. You know, give him something. He gave me a card too on his website, so I'll make sure to post that with a nice little vlog. I'll try and post it in the description. But yeah, it was really cool. $4. Support a guy in the comic industry. Why not? Why not? And I got this empty bottle of Coke. No, there was this guy who was selling a lot of different like DVD box sets. There were a couple I was interested in up front. He had the complete series of the Flash, like the Flash TV show. He also had the first DVD set of Primeval, the BBC show, and I heard great things about Primeval. I, of course, you know, like Flash, DC, I've been kind of interested in the show. He also had a few other things. Like, he was selling a lot of other things. He had, like, the first 5 seasons of Next Generation for $25 a pop, which for how expensive those DVDs still go is pretty good, but, you know, I like that show. I really do like that show, but not enough to, you know, own the DVDs, and I'm a collector, so if I did that, I would have eventually had to buy it all, so. And a bunch of other miscellaneous things, Simpsons, American Dad. This guy was just trying to clear out his DVD collection, which I understand. But he did have 2 things that really interested me, because I watched this show while I was on Hulu, and I saw roughly the first couple episodes. I got both seasons of Dead Like Me, which for those who may not know what this was a series. It was on Showtime, though I remember seeing it like after it got canned. It was on site. They were rerunning it a lot on Sci-Fi. Back when they were, you know, not misspelled. I missed those days. And I watched the first couple episodes, and I really did like it. It's oddly enough, like, I don't know, I don't think I'm too much in the dark humor, but it's entertaining, and I love the way, like, the idea of it. For those of you who don't know, the main character is this girl named George, and yes, just shut up, and she dies, and she was picked to be a Grim Reaper, and you know, we just go through her life trying to cope with, you know, being a Grim Reaper and having to do this job, and how she's trying to adjust to it and leaving her family behind because she's only a teenager. It only lasted 2 seasons, and there is a movie that they made afterwards, which I've heard anywhere from it's okay to it's god awful, and if I am tempted to get it, I'm not worried because I think Big Lot still sells it for $3, which, again, I've been told to stay away from it, and that hasn't stopped me in many cases. I own all of the Burton Schumacher films on that 4 films collection thing they always put out. Those relatively cheap, but, you know, worth it if you just want the movies thing, which is fine by me. In terms of, like, Callum Blue, who would go on to play Zod in Smallville, is in this, and unlike that, if you didn't like him in that, don't worry, I love him in this. He's really funny, and everyone's really good in this. Again, he's the only actor I think anyone would really know, because I highly doubt any of you people know who Megan Moth is, or any of that. I mean, Ellen Moth. I'm an idiot, and should go to hell for screwing that part up. It's a very entertaining show. It's a kind of a shame it didn't go on longer, but I'm kind of on a weird kick of owning shows that have been canned or ended, so ask Jaden Nova. And in terms of swag, that's about it. I didn't get too much because it wasn't a matter of I didn't have the money. There's just that as much as there's just stuff that was too expensive. There were some awesome things I wish I could have afforded, but I couldn't. Like, they had a Patrick Troughton statue that was $110. If I had that money, I would have taken that home, but no, I just don't want to spend that kind of money. But I loved that convention. I definitely going next year. A lot of the same people have been there before from the word of it, and it's great. It's great to have a local convention like that, because I didn't know about that. I wish I knew about that before. But it's a nice little local con. Also, they had a game room. Like, nothing special. They just set up a Sega Genesis and a Wii, and people were playing Sonic and Super Smash Bros., but that was fun as hell. They also had some screening rooms. They had it's really kind of cheap. Like, it's not a fancy get-up. Like, they literally, because all of the halls that they could reserve, they reserved for panels, but they reserved 2 hotel rooms. One that was screening movies, the other that was screening anime. And I didn't watch any of them because I didn't want to miss out on, because there seemed to be consecutively panels like overlapping over the movies, and none of the anime was stuff I wanted to watch because it was really obscure stuff, and it was all subbed, and I just, unless I hear the premise is awesome, I'm not really willing to read. I'm a lazy bastard with a learning disability. Get off me. But, yeah, I had a lot of fun. If I didn't, like, if it wasn't as much fun as I'm just saying it is, I would have stayed there for almost 6 hours. Over 6 hours, I think. So, yeah, I had fun at ConStellation, Nebraska 2012, Part 2. No. Even though they're planned for next year, and apparently they're going to call it A New Hope, because Sci-Fi, Star Wars. I didn't see any Star Wars cosplayers, weirdly enough. Not even a guy who brought a toy lightsaber. I saw some guys selling off old Star Wars novels, but yeah, what do you know? So that's it for Duke's blog about how he wasted some money and had fun with nerds. Peace.